When you were growing up, did you have any pets?
Yeah, I always had a pet growing up. My first pet was actually a cat, after that, my family always had a dog around, usually multiple dogs. Right now, we have two dogs at home, and they're usually family dogs, but they're more my mom dogs. So they never really felt like they were just my dogs. But I was always used to having a little chihuahua running around the house.
Would you say being raised around pets growing up made you want one of your own?
Yeah, definitely. I was always used to having a dog, even if they're just kind of sleeping in the corner while you're watching TV. That was something that I always enjoyed about having a pet. And so that made me kind of start thinking about the possibility of having a dog of my own eventually when I felt ready. And then the other kind of catalyst was starting to go to therapy and starting to talk through maybe some of the other ways that a dog could help me other than just being my pet.
You also said that you were talking to your therapist, right, about having a dog. And so, do you have one now?
Yeah, so I've had my dog for a little over a month now. And so part of that process was talking to my therapist and talking to other people who have had emotional support animals to see if that would be the right fit for me.
With therapy, how would you say that played a factor in you wanting a dog, specifically an emotional support dog?
So, like I said, I had been seeing a lot of people posting on Facebook, actually, people that I had known who were being very vulnerable and open about the fact that they were going through a journey with their mental health and the ways that an emotional support animal had played into that journey. And so that kind of opened up the idea for me of maybe this is something that could help me in more ways than one. And so once I finally started going to therapy, which was a journey of its own, I started discussing those things with my therapist. And whenever you're thinking about getting an emotional support animal, it's really important to understand that the animal is not going to fix everything. The animal is a step in your process, and it's part of the things that are going to eventually help you. But you can't go into it thinking, as soon as I get this dog, all my problems are going to go away and I am going to be cured. And so a lot of it was talking through that and understanding that he plays a role in my treatment, but he isn't the end all to my treatment.
What would you say are the benefits of owning an emotional support animal?
About 1 in 4 Americans suffer from mental health issues, and these can be anywhere from PTSD to anxiety to depression. People who suffer from mental illness have a hard time reaching out to people for help because of stigma. In these situations, emotional support animals are a huge way to break stigma and have acceptance and love for the people who are supporting and fighting mental illnesses. So I think the benefits from owning or having an emotional support animals can range from anywhere from having love and care to fighting stigmas about mental illness.
How would you say you prepared for Mancha's arrival before he got here?
So I did a lot of research. Like I said, I had always had a dog growing up, but that didn't mean that I felt like I understood everything that it took to raise a puppy specifically. I think that I wanted to make sure that I knew everything that was out there. And maybe I over prepared because I would research every possible question, like best leash lengths, because there's different lengths of leashes, and best food, because that's a big thing right now of like different types of food that people think are good or bad for dogs. So a lot of reading, a lot of reading. I bought a couple books on dog training and just puppy ownership.
Could you take us back to the moment when you first got Mancha and what that might have felt like for you?
It feels real because you're about to actually touch him. I had only seen pictures of him up until that moment. So when I was waiting at the airport, I had a friend with me, obviously, to help me, and I was very, very nervous. And she could sense that I was nervous, and she was just trying to calm me down and tell me, like, you've been waiting so long for this, which is true. I had been waiting a long time to have my own dog, years, really, because I had been thinking about this since before I actually started the process. And so when he finally got there, I was on the verge of tears. And then he proceeded to pee on my hand, which was great because I was like, you know what, this is reality. This is not going to be a perfect moment. Like, he's scared and this is a new place for him. And so I think it's hilarious that the first thing he did was pee on me as we were standing in the airport. And then that first night when he finally was here with me in the apartment, it also started to sink in, like, okay, this is our first night and it might not go well. And this might be where all the really hard stuff starts. And so a little bit scared going into that night. But I mean, I was prepared for it. I knew that it wasn't going to be easy. And we made it through.